On 6/3/94, Toshiaki Kawada failed in his third attempt to capture the Triple Crown Championship from Mitsuharu Misawa. In one of the most iconic matches in the history of professional wrestling as a whole, Kawada was yet again the loser. More than that though, Misawa yet again asserted his dominance at the top of All Japan Pro Wrestling. It seemed that there might be no one left to knock him off his spot. But there's one man here to step up to the plate. A former challenger and a familiar foe. Beware. The doctor is in. Steve Williams had challenged Misawa the year before, but 1994 felt like an evolution of his abilities. His size always presented a problem, but his performances through the year showed that he'd become more resilient than ever. It's become clear that Williams is someone who can absorb a crazy amount of punishment before even a dent is made on the man. It's this imposing figure that Misawa stands across on July 28th, 1994, in the Nippon Budokan. It's his 8th defense of the Triple Crown Championship, and this might just be the most daunting physical challenge that he's faced yet. The main plot point of the match happens in the opening moments. After some light scrambling on the mat, the two get in a slap exchange, ending with an elbow from Misawa. Doc seems annoyed by the elbow more than anything else. He doesn't even drop. I've made a big deal over this series about how Misawa's elbow is God. Dr. Death showed up on this night to say, "Your elbows ain't shit." Misawa tries to find some way to ground Doc, constantly going for sleeper holds, but the big man keeps using his power to slip out. Finally, Misawa is able to string together some elbows, knock Doc out of the ring, and hit an elbow suicida to get the challenger down on his ass. The advantage doesn't last long though, as Doc catches a charging Misawa and drops him with a spinebuster. It's at this point that Doc really gets to impose his will. He nails a great overhead belly to belly, then tosses Misawa to the outside where he rams the aces back into the ring post. Doc is real mean to Misawa here, even hitting repeated elbow shots to Misawa's back to keep wearing him down. Even a desperation elbow from Misawa doesn't deter Doc. He has a jaw stronger than any of Misawa's previous opponents. It's one of the most domineering performances any wrestler has had against Misawa since he won the Triple Crown. Misawa was able to get some elbows in that rock Doc for just long enough for him to start running through his signature offense. The face lock, a tiger driver, and 2 top rope splashes aren't enough to put Doc away. Misawa goes for a rolling elbow, but misses, allowing Doc to hit a murderous, dangerous backdrop. Misawa's sell on this thing is one of my all-time favorite sells of any move ever in the history of wrestling. At this point, it's pretty much game over. Misawa gets a few desperation blows in, but he's too battered to ever properly capitalize on it. It's a question of when, not if, at this point. An Oklahoma Stampede and another backdrop spell the end to Misawa's near 2-year reign as Triple Crown champion. I kind of love this match. It's satisfying in a way completely different to any of Misawa's Triple Crown matches beforehand. It's the exhilarating thrill of seeing someone who's been on top for so damn long suddenly realize that everything they're so used to doing perfectly just isn't working. Doc didn't outsmart Misawa or outplan him. He simply could not be dented or touched in any significant way. It's the perfect match to introduce Doc as the new Triple Crown champion and a fitting way for Misawa's massive reign to end, crumbling all around him at the hands of someone who's just an absolute physical freak. 4.5 stars for this one. Is it better than 6-3-94? I think it is, actually, if only for the fact that this is such a fascinating new narrative in Misawa's title reign, whereas 6-3-94 was a continuation of old themes. At the same time, there's a focus here that I don't think I personally feel from 6-3-94. So on the back of consistency and novelty, this gets the nod, if only by just a hair. With a newly minted champion at the top of the heap, a fresh challenger was in the cards as well. After steadily rising through the ranks over the last 2 years, it was finally time for Kenta Kobashi to test his mettle in the deep waters of the Triple Crown title scene. While these two have had an on and off rivalry through the 90s, Kobashi has yet to defeat Doc in singles action. But Kobashi has shown growth. Earlier this year, he beat Hansen for the first time in singles action, and maybe he can pull off a similar victory here. I love the intensity Williams brings as champion. Just look at the way he gets in Kobashi's face. It's such a great contrast to Misawa's calm stoicism. Williams is just all rage and heat, ready to power his way through his challengers. It's awesome. Kobashi knows firsthand just how much punishment Doc can take without going down. That's why he's busting out stuff early, like going for his signature rolling cradle just minutes into this match. At its core though, this match is about two bulls just locking horns until someone goes down. That's perfectly captured in these two having a test of strength early on. While this is a common enough spot in all Japan, I think it works especially well with Doc and Kobashi. I mean, just look at these two absolutely massive, broad beef boys trying to see who's the beefiest. It works well because you can feel the actual physical struggle here. There's no clear winner in the test of strength, but Kobashi shows he can hold his own. It's a big shoulder tackle that knocks Doc down, and a dropkick to the floor that provides Kobashi his first major opening in the match. He hits a crazy crossbody off the top rope to the floor, showing just how much he's willing to risk for the Triple Crown. Even then, a big vertical suplex only gets a 1 on Doc, again demonstrating the champion's near invulnerability. It's not long before Doc regains control by catching a charging Kobashi with a knee to the head. This is a pretty gruesome control segment from Doc, actually, as we get some of those wonderful power moves he does so well throughout. Just mechanically speaking, Doc may be one of the absolute best ever at executing these classic big man moves with the brutality necessary to put them over as big deals within the context of a match. From there, the match progresses pretty much as you'd imagine. These two trade big moves against each other, but they do that so well that it feels like earned spectacle instead of just bombast for its own sake. One thing I really appreciate, for example, is how much Doc really makes Kobashi work for his comebacks. They usually come in stages, with Kobashi having to string 2 or more moves at a time to really get his momentum going against the dominant champion. Deep into the match, Doc is yet again firmly in control, just tossing Kobashi around with impunity. An incredibly impressive sight, given that Kobashi's not exactly a small man in his own right. Just stunning power on display here from Doc. Feeling the match slipping away from him, Kobashi goes to a desperation tactic that's worked for him in the past. He attacks Doc's knee. The sudden attack gives Kobashi just enough of an opening to nail his signature moonsault, but only gets a 2. He goes to the well one time too many and misses his second attempt. Another dropkick to the knee buys Kobashi some more time, but his window of opportunity is rapidly closing. He throws every bomb he can at Doc, but none of it can keep the champion down. A single opening is all the champion needs to regain the advantage. Doc starts dropping bombs, and although Kobashi makes one final attempt to cut him off by going to the leg, the writing's on the wall for him. I love Kobashi's selling in this part. There's nothing left in him, and the attack on the leg was his final salvo. Doc nails a gross, dangerous backdrop into the turnbuckle, and then a final one in the center of the ring to put Kobashi away and retain the Triple Crown Championship in a fantastic meathead struggle of attrition and power. 4.5 for this one. Is it better than 6-3-94? This match really impressed me with its pacing. Up to this point in history, it's the longest Triple Crown title match of all time, and that worried me going in. I thought they might struggle to fill that space meaningfully, but they actually don't. There's even fascinating ideas in here, like Kobashi's doomed attempt to go for the leg that adds some real substance to all the crazy head drops. That being said, it's not quite as grand and epic in meaning as 6-3-94, and the rich character dynamics of Misawa and Kawada do trump the much more flashy and dazzling intensity of Doc and Kobashi. It's not a slam dunk victory for 6-3-94, but a victory nonetheless. For Dr. Death's second defense of the Triple Crown Championship, he would face a familiar foe. The man who had defeated him earlier in the year in the Champion Carnival, Dangerous K, Toshiaki Kawada. This would be Kawada's 5th chance at the Triple Crown title, his 2nd of the year. This might be all or nothing for Kawada at this point. Kawada comes into the match with a very clear strategy. Seeing Kobashi's attempts to take out Doc's leg, Kawada has decided to apply this for himself. Instead of waiting to go deep in the match to do it though, Kawada attacks the leg early. He uses his kicks to chip away at that foundation before grounding Doc on the mat to start really working over the leg. I will say that while Kawada's not some mat technical wizard, I find his take on leg work here significantly more interesting and brutal than Misawa's similar attempt on June 3rd. As always though, when Doc gets on his feet and is able to make this a game of strength and power, he's the one who's able to take control. A standard test of strength leads to Doc nailing Kawada with a brutal tiger suplex, and Kawada's delayed sell on this is just magical. Again, we get treated to the disgusting power moves that Doc's able to use to wear down Kawada. Through it all, Kawada tries to go to the legs to stunt Doc's momentum, but the champion stays firmly in control. Even then, Doc shows the brief flashes of being bothered by his bad leg that show that he isn't fully shrugging off the damage that Kawada has inflicted. Doc tries to finish things off by going for the Oklahoma Stampede, but his leg gives out. Kawada's plan is working. All the money in the bank he's deposited at the start of the match is steadily starting to pay dividends. Just a few moments later, as Doc climbs to the top, his bad leg makes him lose his balance for a few seconds, just enough to let Kawada catch him on the way down with a kick. Beautiful limb work storytelling here. Kawada runs through his signature offense. A dangerous backdrop gets a 2, the stretch plum can't keep Doc down. Kawada goes for the backdrop again, but Doc slips out of his grasp. Watch carefully as Doc tries to run the ropes here. His balance is slightly off from how bothered he is with his bad leg, which allows Kawada to catch him in the sleeper and ground him again. Kawada looks to get the folding powerbomb to put an end to things, but Doc powers through with a big spine buster. And now, the bombs start falling. A big tiger suplex and a doctor bomb get a 2. Then Doc nails the dangerous backdrop, and Kawada's practically out on his feet, only being saved by falling out to the floor. A desperation rolling kick, and the challenger can sense that he's running out of time. A few more big moves from Doc, and he's doomed. So Kawada goes for the folding powerbomb that won him the Champion Carnival. He finally nails it emphatically in the middle of the ring, but only gets 2. Now the match enters overdrive. Kawada executed his plan to perfection. Attack the leg, chop down the tree, hit the bombs, but the champion is still standing and only 1 backdrop away from retaining the title. There's a real sense of desperation from Kawada in this, as he desperately tries to hang on long enough to finally capture the title that's evaded him for so long. See how he clings to the ropes here to block Doc's backdrop, only letting go so he can nail a back fist to rock Doc. Kawada returns to the leg and just starts throwing himself at Doc with kicks. Gamengiri after Gamengiri, an Enzui Lariato for good measure, and one last Gamengiri for the 3 count, and finally, at long last, victory and the Triple Crown Championship. But is it better than 6-3-94? Well, for one, the legwork in this match has a natural conclusion, with Kawada's incredibly focused strategy paying off for him halfway through the match. The drama comes from seeing Kawada execute his plan to the letter and finding that the champion still had something left in him, like a horror movie monster that refuses to stay dead. Kawada's final, primal struggle to knock Doc down is one of the best moments in the Triple Crown's history yet, and his victory is endlessly satisfying and wonderful to behold. Oh yeah, it's better than 6-3-94, and by a considerable margin too, I'd say. Not only is this the best Triple Crown title match of 1994, it's probably the All Japan match of the year as well, if not the 1994 match of the year as a whole. I don't know yet about that second bit. Ask me when the 1994 video drops. It's a stunning piece of work, one that caught me by surprise when I experienced how layered and well thought out it really was. 4 3/4 stars. The best Triple Crown title match since 6-5-89. I know I complained in the last episode about the stagnant, uneventful booking that Baba utilized for the first half of the year. While that is undoubtedly still a problem, one of the positive side effects of that approach is that all 4 Triple Crown Championship matches of 1994 are goddamn stunners. These 4 consecutive title matches give us a run of absurdly high quality that very few, if any, other championships could ever hope to match. I know it may feel like I'm trying to pick on 6-3-94 with the comparisons, but that's not the takeaway I want to leave you guys with. 6-3-94 is an amazing match, and the fact that the wrestlers of All Japan topped it so consistently at the end of 1994 is a testament to the extremely high level of quality that they all were working at. Studying Doc's Triple Crown title reign caught me completely by surprise, because seeing his work in previous years left me with the impression that he wasn't the most thoughtful wrestler in the ring. In 1994, he was able to transform that sheer physical prowess and imposing nature into one of the most compelling title reigns I've ever seen in pro wrestling. He became a problem that needed to be solved, and the 3-month narrative of Misawa, Kobashi, and Kawada working to unlock that puzzle is truly some of the best pro wrestling storytelling you're ever bound to see. And of course, what a way to end with our beloved Dangerous K finally taking the Triple Crown title. It's a sweet moment of victory for him after so much struggle. But there's fighting left on the table. He's yet to best Misawa after all. And winning a title is only the first step. Keeping it is the hard part. Hello everybody, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed what you saw here, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment down below, and share it with your friends online. And if you want to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and punch that notification bell right in the eye. You know what to do. You guys are absolutely awesome. I want to send a massive shout out to all my supporters over on Ko-fi. Thank you so much to my one-time supporters in Juan C. Gonzalez, Oz, You Are Awesome Amazing, It's True, Yay, Connor, Nova, AJ Tigner, Ben, Christoph, Braden, Dick the Cock Johnson, and Vibe MD. And a massive thank you to all my monthly Ko-fi supporters in James Draper, Captain Jack Heartless, Eddie Roberts, Jacob Dickens, Matt Brummett, Chick Fritz, Spiders in My Bed, Timothy R. Buchner, Indelaine, Donomatic, Peter Vinnison, Kid King Pin, Joe Humphreys, Christopher Jackson, Saltine Daltine, Dustin Faulkner, Edgar Molina, Four Pillars of Hell, Sean Emily, Mason Rollison, Carve Cutta, Jacob VR, Andrew Perry, Craig Jones, and Merch Table Mafia. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You guys help keep things rolling. You guys are great. Thank you all so much, and have a good one.